Hello there, my name is Mwalimu Simon Lines and welcome to class. Today's lesson is about lighting because we said photography is the art of painting with light. That means the more you grow as a photographer, the more you're going to be using light to paint and make your photos. And that also means that the more you grow as a photographer, the more light you're going to be able to utilize in terms of bigger in size and bigger in power. So when you get into photography, you're going to start off easy and start with the natural light or continuous lighting like what I have here. And you're going to learn the principles of taking a good camera using natural light or continuous lighting. And you're going to learn things like setting your ISO, setting your shutter speed, and setting your aperture, such that you get a decent image that is both well exposed and sharp and has the right amount of depth of field. But now as you grow further as a photographer, you're going to need more light because sometimes you might be shooting in places that do not have enough available light or continuous lighting, and you might have to introduce a bit of flash. So when you go from your camera comes with a flash that you call the pop-up flash. This one right here, this one right here, this one, it's called the pop-up flash because it pops up from the top of your camera like you have seen like that, and helps you light the scene in front of you. But this camera flash has a number of limitations. Number one, it is very small in size. If you compare the size of this light head here and the size of this one, you can of course see that there's a very big size difference. Then this one is limited. It can only be used in that particular angle, no other position. But with this one, you can angle it, turn it around, point it up, point it down, rotate it, and things like that. So in this video, I'll show you guys possibly the only video you might need to watch about using your flash. And this particular video, I want to show you guys how you can use a flash in a way that, number one, gives you the maximum number of shots per charge of batteries, and number two, gives you photos that have a nice balance between available lighting and added lighting. So the difference between these two approaches is, one, you're going to be setting the camera around the lighting, or we are going to be setting the lighting around the camera. What is the difference? So let's start with the first one. The first photographer is the first photographer who sets their camera around their lighting. And how they approach photography is, I was shooting somewhere last time, and the last power level I used on my speed light was 1/4. Okay, so when I get to a new place, being the photographer who sets their camera around their lighting, the first thing I'm going to turn on is turn on my flash and make sure that my flash is on. I'm going to be using the bounce card only. I'm not a fan of those modifiers that we put on speed lights. I used to use them a while back, but I'm just going to use the bounce card and nothing else. Okay, so I have my speed light at 1/4, and I'm going to attach it to my camera, and I'm going to take a photo. So then once I take the photo, I'm going to look at how the photo looks. Then I'm going to adjust my camera settings till the photo is well exposed. So I think I'm going to take a photo of that corner over there. So my previous use settings were f4, ISO 3200, and shutter speed of 1/100. Let me actually just note those for the purpose of learning. F4, 3200 on the ISO, and 1/100 on the shutter speed. Okay, so let me take this particular photo and see how it looks. Very overexposed, very overexposed. So I'm going to start dropping down my settings, and I'm going to start with my ISO and bring it all the way down to around ISO 400. Take another shot again. Almost there, but still overexposed. So I'm going to take it further down to ISO 160. Almost there. I think this looks decent enough. I'm going to be attaching these particular photos, so let me just take it down further to 100. I just want to have a properly well exposed photo. And now I think at ISO 100 I have a very decent photo. So let me just note those settings down. So we are at f4, ISO 100, shutter speed of 1/100, and on the flash we have a power level of 1/4. Now let's do some mathematics, what I call power mathematics. For this particular kind of a speed light, if I have my batteries charged to the maximum capacity, they normally say that I'm going to get 500 shots if I'm shooting at 1/1. So if I'm shooting at 1/1, I can get 500. So that means since I'm shooting at 1/4, I can get 500 times. If I'm shooting at 1/4, I can get 500 times 4, which is 2000 shots. Okay. So this means that after taking 2000 photos, I'm going to run out of battery juice. And I'm shooting at ISO 100, shutter speed of 1/100, and an f-stop of 4. That is the first photographer. Okay. Now, that being the first photographer, then there's the second type of photographer, and that's where you're going to find Mwalimu. The second type of photographer, like you have seen, we have balanced our camera settings around the 1/4 we have in our speed light. But now, in my way of doing it, instead of starting with the lighting, I'm going to start with the camera, and I'm going to get an almost good exposure. Then I'm going to add just a bit of flash. So I'm going to start by setting the camera first, then I'm going to add the flash later. So I'm going to turn off the flash like that. So then I'm going to start taking my test photos. So then I'm going to notice the photo is very dark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it a bit brighter. I've taken the ISO up to ISO 800. I can almost see everything. So let me take it up further to ISO 1250. And now I have a good image, almost properly visible. Then I'm going to take it further to ISO 1600. Now I have an image that is almost properly well exposed. So then I'm going to turn off my flash, turn on my flash now. And now my settings are, I'm at IF4, I'm at ISO 1600, and shutter speed of 1/100. Then I'm going to turn on my flash and take the photo. Remember, the flash is at a quarter power, and it's going to be greatly overexposed. So what I'm going to do now, instead of dropping down my ISO, I'm going to drop down the power level of my flash, and I'm down all the way down to 1/32, and I'm going to take a photo. And 1/32, it is almost still overexposed, so I'm going to drop it even further to 1/64, and I'm going to take the photo again. Yes, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I love this. I love this. So I've gotten this photo with my speed light at 1/64 of power. So like you can see, in the previous settings where I was shooting at ISO 100, f4 100 for the shutter speed, I needed to have my speed light power at 1/4. Okay. So but now that I'm shooting at 1/100, ISO 1600, and f4, I only need 1/64 of power on my speed light. What does that mean? No, this means that if I could get 500 shots at 1/1, then I think this needs a calculator. I can get, give me a calc please. I can get 64 times 500 shots from my batteries, which is 32,000 photos. So you can see I can get 30,000 more photos before I drain my batteries as compared to this photographer. So the difference between those two photographers is, I've said, number one balances their camera settings around their flash power. Then the better photographer, and that is where you will find Mwalimu, balances their flash power around their camera settings. So you get an almost good enough exposure, something that let's say is 80-70% a good exposure. Then you just add the remaining 20% using flash. So that means you're going to be using very minimal flash power. You're going to get more shots from your flash before the batteries drain out, and you're going to get a faster recycle time, because remember, the more power you're draining, the longer the recycle time, and the less power you're draining, the shorter the recycle time, and the more shots you can take back to back. And I hope you guys got something from this, and that is the difference between someone who's going to go to a wedding and drain their batteries at 10 a.m. and someone is going to use their batteries for that wedding and the next job they have the next day. And with that, I am out. See you as we shoot and get better. Bye bye.